Galaxy Note 3 and the Galaxy S5, two of the hottest Samsung devices right now, two of the best smartphones on the market, and two of the best Android phones you can buy. I'm Josh Smith with GoDaddyMobile.com. I'm going to show you some differences between these two devices. Both are running Android 4.4.2. Both have TouchWiz, but there's a lot of little differences that really can help you pick which smartphone you should buy, and we're going to look at those. Let's start with the displays. We have a 5.7-inch display on the Galaxy Note 3 and a 5.1-inch display on the Galaxy S5. Now, this doesn't actually result in a very different footprint. The phones are very similar in size, even though the Galaxy Note 3 has a 0.6-inch larger display. You're getting, an extra half an inch of room there, but the phones are pretty similar in size. Now, one of the big differences is the Galaxy Note 3 comes with an S Pen. And so while this is not generally considered part of the display by a lot of users, there's actually display tech that allows this to communicate to your Galaxy Note 3, and you can use this little button to activate a air command and actually hover, and it can detect that the pen is there. So the pen is actually a big part of the Galaxy Note 3 display. There is no pen with the Galaxy S5, but you get a display that features some really cool things. You can go really dim, you can go really bright. It has one of the best performing mobile displays according to a display benchmarking company. And in person, as I'm looking at these two displays, the Galaxy S5 has a clear win in terms of just, wow, it looks really good. Now, both of these devices can multitask, or I should say, can do multi-window mode. So you can run two apps on screen at the same time, and that's something that works on either of these devices so that you can, do that, be a little more productive while you're using them. You get a little more real estate over here on the Galaxy Note than you do on the Galaxy S5. Another difference is I can say, "Okay, Google," and the Galaxy S5 will start listening, whereas the Galaxy Note 4 does not have that ability, so it's not going to be able to just respond to that key phrase. Now, we have a different version of TouchWiz, so you see a variety of different options here. And we have a lot of the same features like Smart Stay, blocking mode, do not disturb, airplane mode, and we can customize where these are on each phone. One of the new things is ultra power saving. And so with ultra power saving mode, I can get dramatic battery life by turning the display to basically black and white and doing a few other tricks to limit the use. So I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to let that turn over to ultra power saving mode. Then you'll see it kind of switch around. There's some different emergency features in here that use something like this, and instead of your basic communication, you can actually send a text message with your location. There's a mode to tap the power button 3 times and it'll send an alert to your primary contacts. And so this is your ultra power saving mode. It says I can get 10.6 days in standby on 85% charge. Now, what this really is meant for is when you want to basically stretch that last 5% of your battery life to get through the night, you can switch over to that, and it's going to give you 24 hours of use when your phone has 5% of battery life. So, really handy feature. Other things that are slightly different on these two devices, they both have the physical home button that we're used to. There's a fingerprint scanner in this home button, so you can use that to make mobile payments, unlock the device, and you can set up a private mode to lock files with your fingerprint. It is a swipe, so you have to swipe over it, unlike the iPhone where you kind of just put your finger on it. There is nothing like that here. And there's a little bit of different functionality. So if you press the home buttons once, it's going to take you to your home screen, of course. And if I hold, I go to Google Now on the Galaxy S5. I go to multitasking and a shortcut to Google Now on the Note 3. So I can get to Google Now faster over here. Now, another thing, if I double tap, I can get into S Voice on either of these. You'll notice that S Voice is a little bit different on each device, and that's just because of slightly different versions of TouchWiz that are on here. Now the button over here is settings on the Galaxy S5. It's your multitasking, and what you can do is you can hold and you'll get settings. So you're getting more functionality over here. There's a back button on each of these. If you hold the back button, that's how you access the multi-window mode, turn that on and off on both devices. Pretty similar design at the front, or I should say at the top. And as we flip both of these over, we have the white models. This is a fall leather, fake leather feel. Not really a big fan of this feel on the white version. The black version feels a little bit nicer. Shimmery white on the Galaxy S5. It feels better than the Galaxy S4, and it feels better than this white Galaxy Note 3. But this shimmery white looks a little bit more like off-white or eggshell white. Not really my first choice. I'd look to hopefully get the electric blue back at some point and slap on a wireless charging. We have this stitching along the edges here, and you'll notice that there's a different camera design. We have a 13 megapixel sensor and a basic flash. We have a new, I believe, dual LED flash and a 16 megapixel sensor. Both can record 4K. This one you're going to be able to do a little bit faster focusing, 0.03 seconds, I believe, and you're able to do live HDR. So if you want to take a photo with HDR mode on, you're really going to be able to see what that's going to look like before you press the shutter. Now, next to this is a pulse reader, so I can stick my finger on this and it'll take my pulse using S-Health, and it will track that. You can get some apps that will do similar things when you cover up the flash and it'll light up your finger, but this has that built in, so you don't have to worry about that. Again, here you see we have the S Pen that comes out and can activate some things, and that's really one of the key features to the Note 3. You know, that bigger screen is nice, but when you're in about the same size, but you're just a tiny bit smaller, a little easier to hold and use with one hand, if all you want is a bigger screen, definitely check out the Galaxy S5 because it's right up there. Now let's take a look at the bottom of these devices. So you'll notice we have a USB 3.0 connection. We have the same thing over here on the Galaxy S5. So we have the same connection, but because the Galaxy S5 is water resistant, IP67, so it can handle dust and dirt, and it also can withstand 30 minutes in up to a meter of water, so you can get it wet without worrying. So there's a little cover there to keep that clear. We have the same similar silver band of trim, little different design there as we go around, but pretty similar. Power button on one side, volume rocker on the other, and as we look at the top of the device, we have headphone and IR port kind of on flipped sides there. From a design standpoint, you can take the back off of both of these, slots off, and that gives you access to your battery. Larger battery over here, but we have a nice step up from the Galaxy S4 over here with a 2,800 milliamp hour battery. And we have a micro SD and a SIM card slot on both, so you can expand your storage there. You do have to kind of pull and pry that out because there's no spring eject on either of these. You have a small seal here that makes this water resistant, and that combines with other factors. You'll get a little warning, make sure you've put this back on just right. Otherwise you can accidentally leave an area open for a small leak. But the Galaxy Note 4 may add some type of feature like that in. That's a quick look at the Galaxy Note 3 versus the Galaxy S5. Two great smartphones. You can head over to guidemobile.com, check out the description for a link to this comparison where you can see more photos and more details, specs, things like that. Everything you want to know about how these two devices stack up. Hit the like and share this if you're a fan. Really appreciate you watching, and have a great day.